a rare and balanced view on politics in today's world. Based on facts, born of rationality, common sense, and logic, providing context on today's events. This is American Perspective with Rick Thomas.
Hello everybody. I'm already being hit by my unofficial producers over here on the and I got the book right here, folks. It's right here. It's in my hand. It's in my place. It's looking right at me, so hopefully we'll be able to get it going. Oh, goodness. All right. Hello everybody. Welcome to American Perspective. Hey, I have got a new sound thing for you tonight. So, we'll get to that here in just a minute. You guys, I think you guys are going to love it. I know there's not a lot of things going on in terms of my sounds. I mean, I don't use all of my sound bar that often. There's some times that I do, but not every time. This one, I have a feeling when you guys hear it, I have a feeling this one's going to keep coming back. Anyway, all right, folks, let's go ahead and get things kicked off. Tonight, we have one of the cutest pledges of them all. We are at number 21 in the list. Or no, we're at 20. We're at number 20 in the list. 21 is Mrs. Whiskey. So, yeah. But we're at number 20 in the list for the Pledge of Allegiance. So, so here we go. If you are of mine, please stand. This is in the top, at least top 5. Got to be in the top 5 for the best out of the list that we've got. But anyway, if not higher than that, I'm just going to say top 5 because I really don't want to necessarily insult anybody. But this is definitely one of the best that I have in the list. So if you are of mine, please stand. Remove your hat if you're wearing one, like me. Place your hand over your heart and follow along with these two wonderful young people as they recite the absolute cutest Pledge of Allegiance I think I've heard. Here we go. Oh.
This is our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bye.
All right. And of course, I thank Fernando over on Rumble for that wonderful rendition of the pledge. He allowed his two twin daughters to, well, they wouldn't be twins. They would be, triplets or quintuplets. So of course they're two. Yeah. Anyway, so there they are. His daughters doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Like I said, that's got to be like top 5 minimum, top 5 on all of them. But anyway, yeah, that's a good way to kick things off. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our headline sponsor, which is tonight, being the fact that it's Saturday, is the Institute on the Constitution. Now, the Institute on the Constitution has a mission. Their mission is to restore the constitutional republic through grassroots education. It is from a biblical worldview as well. They were formed as a nonprofit, 501c3 nonprofit organization in 2004. And since then, they have been trying to train people on the American view of law and government as defined in the Declaration of Independence in the following 3 key points. 1, there is a God. 2, our rights come from him. And 3, the purpose of civil government is to secure and protect our God-given rights. The IOTC offers the opportunity to educate yourself on our most precious founding document, the Constitution of the United States. They also provide tools to educate yourself and your community on the same. Here's the thing. First, you got to remember they have three parts. They have the pray, they have the study, and they have the act. This is how you restore the Constitution, okay? This is how you restore the Constitution. First step is you pray. And by the way, if you really want to know where to go to find all this out, go to theamericanview.com. That's theamericanview.com. Now, the first step is to pray. Make sure to pray for your nation. That's right. We got to all pray for our country because it is under attack by a bunch of, well, let's just say evilness that is out there, anti-American evilness. Second thing, you need to study. Well, there are courses that they have you. First, start off with the free online class. If you go and click on their study tab, you can see the free online class. This right here above my head is the sign-up sheet. All you need is your first name, last name, and an email address. And they will send you a lesson every week. There's 12 lessons. They're approximately 15 to 20 minutes long. And you can do all 12. It's 100% free online and delivered right to your inbox. And it's, again, 12 short lessons. Study the U.S. Constitution there. And then you can also pick up their other classes. They have other classes that you can find. And you can go and explore the live classes. They have live classes. And here, take a look. They've got one in Newark. There's Lewes. They've got one in Seaford. These are in Delaware, Maryland. Hey, you want a live class to come to your neck of the woods? Well, this is how you do it. You go and become an instructor. Yes, that's part of the ACT part, is to go and become an instructor. All right? Go and become an instructor because, let's just make sure that we do this grassroots education. By grassroots, that means we, the people, have to do this. We, the people. Now, there are so many people who don't even understand about the Constitution. I get hit on them all the time on social media, people that do not understand the Constitution and how it actually works. In fact, many of them say that I have no idea what I'm talking about. Yeah, they don't get it. So I need more people. I need more help. Many more of you can do this. Pray, study, and act by going to theamericanview.com. That's theamericanview.com. Check out all of the things that the Institute on the Constitution has available for you. And you can also start by getting this wonderful leather-bound, Saddleback leather-bound U.S. Constitution. You can get this by going to constitution.americanperspective.online. Take a look. Got 1/8 of an inch of Saddleback leather wrapped around pages that are water and tear resistant. No cheap glue here, folks. This is stitching that goes all the way through the leather and the pages contained within. It's got a 100-year warranty against materials and manufacturing defects, such that if you have a challenge with this, okay, if you have a challenge for this, with this, you can send it back to the manufacturer and they will either fix it or replace it for free. Apparently, according to G, it says stitching is approved by Dr. Michael DeBakey. I think that's right. Anyway, no need for transplants here. Get the real stitching right here on the book. It is buddy tested, buddy approved, Billy tasted, Billy approved. My youngest whiskey warrior has confirmed that the information contained within will help you to achieve your civics badge in Scouts, not to mention your civics exam and even that naturalization test if you're going for it. Become an American. Yes, please. We need you. Head on over to constitution.americanperspective.online to get yours today, and also check out the rest of the Institute on the Constitution's offerings, including those classes, and think about becoming an instructor as well. I know, I constantly get told I should be an instructor. Yeah, maybe that's one of the things that I will work on for 2026. I've got so many things that I want to work on for 2026. It's not even funny. All righty. So first, I want to start you guys off with a little bit of a funny. That's right. I want to start you guys off with a little bit of a funny. Now, hat tip to Chad Prather. I think that's how it's pronounced. It could be Prather. I don't know. It could be Prather, whatever. The A is really kind of what's funky. But anyway, he posted this short on his Facebook account, and I can think of no better way necessarily to introduce my new soundbite, and it's not mine, by the way. I'll explain when we get there, but yeah, just want to start you off with this funny about this. Oh, it's a long A, so Prather, not Prather, but Prather, I guess. Anyway. All right, let me go ahead and get on over here because this is a fantastic, whoops, wrong screen. Let's get that out of the way. Here we go. So let's you guys, especially, you know what? The reason why I'm kind of like pushing this too is because of the fact there's a lot of people in Florida right now, a lot of my Whiskey Warrior P1s, who are a hell of a lot smarter than this guy, but they're in the middle of a snowstorm right now. And, yeah, so here, this is going to take just a few seconds, okay? Just a few seconds, I promise. We'll get on this day in just a minute. But let's go ahead and take a listen to Chad.
This can't be real.
So I went to the store earlier and I bought all these garbage bags. I've been trying to shovel the snow and put it into the garbage bags so the garbage man will come pick it up. And I'm about halfway through this roll of 33 and I have more garbage bags over there, and I haven't really gotten that much of the snow picked up yet, so I have to keep shoveling.
We have people that are stupid.
But then again, I don't know. Like, they were eating the Tide Pods and drinking the Windex and doing all the things, so.
All right. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So, you gotta wonder about that, but that's not necessarily, I mean, yes, that is funny. That is a very funny video. But the reason why I did this is because I have a new sound effect. And I want to take a second to introduce, this is shoot, I forgot the guy's name already. Dennis, give me a second here. I got to get the guy's name because this is not mine. Dennis Stephen Wright. This is Dennis Stephen Wright. And this is going to be my new, he's probably going to hit me with a copyright. I don't know. But anyway, this is going to be my new little soundbite for these guys. This is all Dennis. Hey, Dennis.
You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
Oh, I think I'm going to start playing that every single time. It might even become part of the Moron Files, although the Moron Files actually has its own soundbite, and I think that is, I gotta figure out which one. Yeah, that's this one. So this is normally the Moron Files.
What are you doing, you moron?
Yeah, that's mostly the Moron Files, but I heard this the other day, or I heard this on one of those, one of the reels that was running around, and I just was like, you know what? I got to get a clip of that and go ahead and play it. And here it is right here.
You're a dumbass.
That's
You're
right.
a dumbass.
Uh-huh.
You're grade A, number one, bona fide first class. You're a dumbass.
Yep.
You're a dumbass.
Uh-huh.
And you'll be one all your dumbass life.
I got to figure out how to get that with some sort of a video so that I can drop this on my social medias whenever I run across somebody instead of telling them that they're a complete, utter, stupid moron anymore. My fingers are getting a little tired of typing all of that, but oh my goodness, yes. Oh, all right, that's enough. I debuted it. Okay, let's really get into tonight's proper stuff. Starting off, of course, with today's. Whoops, I got to switch. Today's On This Day in American History. And of course, for On This Day in American History, I hope my unofficial producers can at least forgive me for that sidebar. But for On This Day in American History, we read from the American Patriots Almanac, written by William J. Bennett and John T.E. Cribb, chock full of all kinds of information. Look at how thick that is. And we're back to the beginning again, although we've just finished the first month. So today is the last day of the first month. So let's go ahead and talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about money tonight. That's right. We're going to talk a little bit about money. We're going to talk about the Roosevelt dime. Since January of 1946, U.S. dimes have carried an image of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. The U.S. Mint issued the coin less than a year after Roosevelt's death. Before 1946, U.S. dimes carried images of female figures representing liberty. The Roosevelt dime was used in part to honor FDR's effort in establishing the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis, which is now known today as the March of Dimes, which was originally founded to help defeat polio. Roosevelt and others urged Americans to send dimes to the foundation to fight the dreaded disease. The back of the Roosevelt dime shows three emblems: an olive branch, a torch, and an oak branch. The olive branch, which is on the left side of the torch, stands for peace. The torch itself, which is an image of the one held by the Statue of Liberty, stands for freedom. And the oak branch, which is on the right side, stands for safety, security, and strength. Soon after the coin's release, controversy erupted when people noticed the tiny letters JS beneath Roosevelt's neck. Rumors spread that a communist agent at the Mint had placed the letters there to honor the Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin. In truth, the initials actually belonged to John Sinnock, who was the actual coin's designer. And that is tonight's On This Day in American History. Now, I keep telling you about this book, and I keep saying you guys should go and get a copy, and let me explain why. I read the little daily ones on Saturdays as a part of On This Day in American History, but there is so much more information that is a part of these books. You just got to go and check them out. For an example, in between each month, they have a section on different things. This one, following January, is the flags of the Revolutionary War. And it goes through, you can see, it'll go through and tell you about, in this particular case, it tells you about the different flags that are all about the Revolutionary War, where they came from, and so on and so forth. You should go and buy yourself this book. It's a great conversation piece. Put it on your coffee table and follow along whenever I read it. And go and check it out. You can buy it. It's called The American Patriots Almanac, and it's written by William J. Bennett and John T.E. Cribb. Fantastic book. You should really, if you're a patriot, even if you have a patriot, maybe get them that for their birthday. So, yeah. So there you go. All right. I'm all caught up now, unofficial producers. I think so. I'm sure I'll get. Oh. Oh, somebody, Julie bought that book the first year that I was on from Barnes and Noble. All right. Well, that's cool. That is cool. Anyway, thank you for that. I do appreciate that. I wish I got something out of that. No, I don't. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. All right. My unofficial producer has given me the thumbs up, so I'm back on track now. All right. Let's go on. Oh, whenever you have a person, an individual who is as charismatic as this gentleman is, you always wait to see what the next things are that comes out of their mouths. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to go back. I see, again, I have so many different producers. I got to go back. So there's a bit more info on the special dime. So there's a special 2026 dime. For 2026 only, a special emerging liberty design will replace the Roosevelt theme, but it's going to return to its standard portrait in 2027. So that's going to make the 2026 dimes a little bit more valuable. That comes from Coco D, insert name here. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you for that information, Coco. All right, back to where I was. When you have a gentleman who is as charismatic as this guy, sometimes you just got to listen whenever he speaks. You know that old E.F. Hutton thing where it's like when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. When Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana talks, yeah, we should all listen. And here he is with a few choice words for Tim Walz. Yes, as one for sure. Let's take a listen.
Let me just say a couple of things quickly, Sean. Number one, Governor Tim Walz. Whatever he says, believe the opposite. I'm sorry, the man learned to lie before he learned to talk. He's just a. I can't help it. You crack me up. Well, he's just a less masculine version of Hillary Clinton. Oh man! Oh my gosh! Number two. Did you go drinking before tonight? Did you have dinner before? Keep going. No, keep going. I don't even drink. I don't even drink. Number two, unless you have a history of disappointing your parents, you know that illegal immigration is illegal. And the Democrats are always telling us, nobody is above the law. Well, how come people who are in our country illegally are above the law? I support enforcing our immigration laws. Now, how you do it matters. It has to be done in accordance with due process and equal protection. The other point, people just need to understand, they have the right to protest, but they don't have the right to protest violently. Violence undermines the morality that they say their movement is built on. Dr. King understood that. Mandela understood that. Interfering with the police, protesting violently is also deep dish stupid. You can get hurt. The truth is, most cops, most ICE officials, they will leave you alone unless you do illegal stuff. And number three, Lindsay was on earlier. Sean, he's right about the sanctuary cities. Senator Thune, I love you like a taco, man. If you're listening right now, let us bring a bill to the floor of the United States Senate to get rid of sanctuary cities. And let's do it along with combating fraud under reconciliation so we don't need Democratic votes. Lindsay is right. It's time.
I just love this guy. I love this guy. I'm telling you, he's just one of those people that I just keep saying. It's like, we really need people like him. Talk about common sense and logic. Oh my Lord, this guy. Yeah. I love Kennedy. I love Senator Kennedy. And no, I don't believe he's related to any of the other Kennedys. Oh, I just love him to death. He's just awesome. All right. Well, The leftists got a little bit of a blow today. Yeah, I know. They keep trying. They keep trying to do stuff, and they keep getting shot down. In this particular case, the whole federal judge. You remember that federal judge in Minnesota who basically was saying that, hey, you know, immigration enforcement. Yeah, we're just gonna, Minnesota decided to take him to court and say, hey, we want all these Minnesota ICE people. We want them all gone. We want ICE out of Minnesota, which I don't understand how you're going to do that when you're one of the coldest states in the union. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I know what they're talking about, immigration customs enforcement. But anyway, I move on. A federal judge today issued a denial to Minnesota's emergency request to block the Trump administration's deployment of the thousands of federal agents into the Twin Cities in a large scale immigration enforcement operations. Her ruling, which came this morning, she wrote that the court must view plaintiffs' claims through the lens of the specific legal framework they invoke, and having done so, finds that plaintiffs have not met their burden. The motion is denied. So, yeah, when the leftists got in, they were thinking, oh, yeah, this is a judge in Minnesota. They're going to do something. Yeah, they're going to do something. Yep, nope. So Menendez addressed her decision that the attorneys representing Minnesota and its Twin Cities focused on what they claim are costs and consequences from excessive law enforcement operations that apparently also harm citizens. Department of Justice attorneys did not even submit evidence directly contradicting this, but rather they highlighted the importance of immigration enforcement and public safety, she wrote. And so, yeah. Defendants also presented evidence on how federal agents have been met with resistance, threats, and violence in some cases. Menendez's ruling said the outcome of this case depends more on the relevant law than the granular facts. So there you go. She's like, yeah, okay, yeah, we're not going to be able to. Let's be honest here, too. She probably also realized that she doesn't have the authority to eliminate or get rid of the ICE operations. I have a feeling that she is just, you know what? Yeah, I can't do this, and so, no, you're denied. Anyway. She did say, though, that the plaintiff's position is not without merit. For several reasons, the court finds the plaintiffs have not shown the likelihood of success required for preliminary injunctive relief. So, yeah, anyway. So there we go. All right. Well, anti-ICE protesters, there were plenty of them across the country today. Well, I say across the country. They're not across the country. They're only in sanctuary cities and states. Anyway. Anti-ICE protesters apparently clashed with federal agents outside the DTLA federal building. So this is the federal building in Los Angeles. Hundreds of unruly anti-ICE protesters were locked in a hostile standoff with federal agents outside the Edward R. Roybal federal building in downtown Los Angeles yesterday. The mob clashed with officials who pepper sprayed the group as it attempted to move closer, meaning the group attempted to move closer to the building. Most of the disorderly crowd covered their faces with masks or scarves, and some used actual gas masks. At one point, the federal agents deployed what appeared to be tear gas into the crowd to disperse the agitators. So there you go. Here's an aerial view of what it looked like. Right here, you can kind of see the protesters that are there near the building. And again, this is LA, so take that for what it's worth. But anyway, so there you go. They keep ramping it up. They really do. They just keep ramping it up. And yeah. Anyway. So protesters, of course, showed up and had, a bunch of different flags, and they were doing all kinds of stuff, and, basically getting into people's faces and so on and so forth. And yeah, anyway, some of the aggressors scrawled F ICE in spray paint along a concrete barrier. Others defaced the building itself. They also piled up a large amount of cardboard and other debris outside the building's parking structure. Then the protesters pushed a large red dumpster toward the entrance as a shield, but the federal agents held their ground and obviously sprayed, pepperball, things like that. There's a bunch of different pictures here that are all over this New York Post article. But anyway, the LAPD said in a tweet shortly after the chaos started to pick up, due to multiple large groups of protesters, traffic is significantly impacted near Alameda and First Streets. Please avoid the area. Updates to follow as conditions change. Then the LAPD decided to make its presence known around 6:30 p.m., deploying officers on the ground and a helicopter overhead, telling the agitators to leave the area immediately. Officers on the ground, armed with shields, helmets, and batons, moved the crowd away from the building at a steady pace. Protesters are part of course, this nationwide shutdown that they keep talking about, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they encouraged a no school, no work, nor no shopping in an effort to bring attention to the efforts of the DHS. The efforts for them to, enforce federal law. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, hell. They even painted. Oh, they even painted this is World War III. Take a look at this. I mean, seriously, defacing property and stuff like this is crazy. I mean, this is crazy. Like, really? Come on. Here they are. There's some people, getting into it with the police. This is with the police. This is with LAPD, not the ICE folks. Now, the LAPD Central Division continued to provide updates on social media as the crowd was forced away. Protesters, this is a quote, protesters are actively fighting with officers after multiple dispersal orders were issued. Metropolitan Division is now on scene. Less than lethal has been authorized due to the violence against the officers. That includes beanbags, rubber bullets, tear gas, all of that stuff. Yeah. Oh, these people, I'm telling you. A follow-up tweet to that said, arrests of violent agitators are now being made after several dispersal orders were issued. Alameda between Aliso and First Street remains closed due to the demonstrators failing to disperse. The initial mob that was there seemed to be almost totally dispersed before 7 p.m., although some of the disorderly protesters remained on scene. And it's about time the damn LAPD showed up. Break this thing up. Then a post from the LAPD Central Division said, much of the demonstration has dispersed. However, a small group of agitators remains in the area. Alameda versus First and Aliso will remain closed. Additional dispersal orders are being issued to those who remain at Alameda and First. They don't know how many people. They don't know how many people were arrested. But as you can see, oh, This is seriously, this is an example of what we're, you know, I got to tell you, the left kept talking about how bad, the left kept talking about how, you know, the Rangers, the whatever, the MAGA people, you know, they all showed like the really heavy set guys and stuff. Yeah, this guy looks like he's really going to be, you know, super, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, for those of you that don't seem to understand, or maybe don't seem to understand about this, you know, because everybody keeps talking about, oh, January 6th, it was so bad, January 6th. All right, let me just explain something to you really, really quick. Okay? The Summer of Love, which killed people, okay? Which killed people and did millions of dollars in damage across the country. I'm talking millions of dollars in damage. And then you have something like this. Okay? And then you compare these, which are continuous and constant and keep coming back every single night. They keep showing back up. They keep coming after this. And then you compare that with what is supposed to be, according to the left, this whole idea of this insurrection, which basically was a riot that occurred out of a peaceful protest. The riot started after the Capitol Police shot rubber bullets and tear gas into the peaceful protest. Nothing had happened before that occurred. Then when that occurred, then all of a sudden you have, you know, a riot on your hands. But even then it was very small, very isolated. It didn't cover everything. We've seen the footage all over. Okay? We've seen the footage all over. If you actually want to see the footage, people were walking through the Capitol building inside the freaking velvet ropes. Yes, there was a little bit of damage that was done, but the entire incident was over in 3 hours or less. And the damage was so minor that it only took them about a week to correct it. And that was because of the glass that had to be replaced. There really wasn't that much damage. There wasn't that much in terms of going on. Yet that, in January 6th, that was supposed to be an insurrection. Yet here we have riots and demonstrations, violent demonstrations that are happening across the country that are causing thousands, if not in the millions of damage, like the Summer of Love, which was back in 2020. And you've got all of this stuff. These guys, I mean, seriously, there is no comparison here. This is no comparison. You want to sit here and call January 6th an insurrection. It wasn't even close. It was, like I said, it was over in 3 hours. The two people that did die on that day, specifically, one was shot and another died due to medical complications. There wasn't anything other than that. I mean, superly major. Those two are obviously major, but nothing other than that was really superly major that happened. Whereas during the Summer of Love, you had things like David Dorn, who was just a security guard, basically, who got beaten to death. You had all kinds of people beaten into the streets and everything else, massive amounts of physical assaults and everything else during this whole thing. So don't sit here and come to me and go, January 6th, January 6th. It was nothing. It was literally nothing. If the press had even bothered to or show the actual wide shots and everything else, you would have seen that it was, it got out of hand in a couple of locations. That's it. It's nothing in comparison to what has been going on consistently every single frickin' night, all over the place, over stuff like this. Well, the good news is, folks, is that we may have some sense coming into some of these places. For an example, we were just talking about the LAPD Well, apparently, Gavin Newsom has been doing all he can. Now, this is just an example, because other Democrat governors are doing the exact same thing in these sanctuary states. But Gavin Newsom has been doing all that he can to impede ICE and prevent them from upholding immigration laws that were enacted by Congress. Now, it was his predecessor, Jerry Moonbeam Brown, who had declared California a sanctuary state in 2017, but Newsom has done nothing to overturn that. Now, in the meantime, he has busted the budget, doling out billions in handouts and medical care to those who are in his state illegally. One of Governor Hairgel's directives, though, I'm kind of reading from this Red State piece, is too much even for the chief of the Los Angeles Police. Apparently, in September, Newsom signed the No Secret Police Act. It is SB 627. And the No Secret Police Act prohibits federal, state, and local law enforcement from wearing ski masks, net gaiters, or any other face covering that hides the identity. Well, the LAPD chief, Jim McDonald, McDonnell, McDonnell, basically just gave the middle finger to Gavin Newsom because he said that he was talking on Good Day LA. And here he is. Let's go ahead and hear it from this man himself with regards to this.
The reality of one armed agency approaching another armed agency to create conflict over something that would be a misdemeanor at best or an infraction, it doesn't make any sense. It's not a good public policy decision, and it wasn't well thought out in my opinion.
So in other words, what he's saying is, I'm not going to enforce the mask ban on federal agents. Oh, yes, you remember all that. We need to unmask these people. All the leftists are like, we need to unmask these people. We need to unmask this. We have unmask. And by the way, for those that don't know, when you sit here and you say something like, well, that wasn't well thought out, that's just a nice way of saying, yeah, you idiots don't know what you're doing. Yeah. So anyway, by the way, he also continued and talked about why that particular law is unworkable. Because he said, from a practical standpoint, our role when we get to a scene is to de-escalate the situation, not to ramp it up. Trying to enforce a misdemeanor violation on another law enforcement agency, that's not going to end well, and that's not going to be good. From a public safety standpoint, for anybody in that environment, potentially you have a crowd that could get agitated and trying to get their point across, and then you have the ICE agents who are doing their job. That's the key point. That's the key point right there. Doing their job. All right. And then for us to come in and try and create an enforcement action for wearing a mask, it's not a safe way to do business. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, maybe Gavin Newsom can take a lesson from his LAPD police chief down there. And it's not just LA, it's not just Minnesota, even Seattle. Seattle's another leftist city. Seattle mayor pushes the local police to track and investigate ICE agents' enforcement activities. This is the new thing, and Chicago is doing the same thing. They're like, hey, we're just going to have our police officers follow the ICE agents, record and monitor and take notes, and if they do an illegal action, we'll bring cases against them. Oh, yeah, that's really going to go over well. Why not? Well, the newest mayor, Katie Wilson, who is a staunch socialist idiot, is now apparently requiring Seattle police officers to investigate and document ICE activities with body cams so that, she can, let's just see what she has to say on the matter. I'm telling you, this is not good, but here.
Campaign and the corporate PAC that tried to stop my election certainly cast it as a negative thing. But, campaigning for office is stressful. Seattle's one of the most expensive cities in the country. Our childcare is off the charts expensive. And honestly, I think that a lot of people of my generation and younger and older found it very relatable that during this stressful campaign, my parents chipped in to help to pay for the cost of their granddaughter's daycare. And I think, families help each other out.
No, actually, they paid for it because you didn't have a job. I'm sorry, that was the wrong.
Virginia's new
that was the wrong clip. I didn't want to. I don't know why I thought that was going to be a different clip. But anyway, let's move on. In a news release, Wilson said that she will sign an executive order prohibiting federal immigration authorities from using city-owned and city-controlled property for immigration enforcement activities. That's another thing that they're trying to do. That's the other thing that they're doing. Chicago is doing the same. The ban would include city parks, parking lots, plazas, vacant lots, storage facilities, garages, Seattle Center, so on and so forth. The iconic Space Needle. Yeah. And yes, Squishy, that is the one that lives with her parents. I don't know how the hell she got elected. I really don't. She's also encouraged Seattle Public Schools and other local governments to take similar steps, and so on and so forth. Well, the Seattle Police Officers Guild says, yeah, we're not going to do that either. Because here, they posted on X. Oh, you guys have already seen it. They posted on X right here. They were like, toothless virtue signaling rhetoric like this has already cost 2 people their lives. The concept of pitting 2 armed law enforcement agencies against each other is ludicrous and will not happen. I will not allow SPOG, which is Seattle Police Officers Guild, members to be used as political pawns. Yeah. And unfortunately, this guy, Mike Solon, he announced like a few weeks ago that he was not going to return or not run again for the SPOG president. Yeah. These guys, I'm just telling you. I mean, it's about damn time that some of these people push back. I would love to see, I really would love to see somebody like a Sheriff Grady or Sheriff Judd. I can't remember which one. He's got like 2 first names, so I can never remember which one is his last name. But I would love to see the sheriff down in Florida, the Polk County Sheriff down in Florida, to be supplanted up here in one of these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. My Lord, could you just imagine that press conference? He'd be sitting there and he'd be saying, well, if the mayor or the governor step foot in my county. Okay, Grady Judd. Yeah, Grady Judd. I keep mixing it up. Grady Judd. Anyway, Sheriff Grady Judd. He's like, if the mayor or the governor step foot in my county after telling me that I am not supposed to enforce constitutional law, well, they're going to get arrested. I mean, he went out of his way to deputize his entire force to get them all trained up so that they could actually go out and do the warrants like what ICE is doing in his county. Oh, my Lord. I could just imagine him. I mean, Sheriff Joe Arpaio got a lot of crap down in Arizona when he was down there being the sheriff. But I got to tell you, these guys are the ones that stand up and say, yeah, guess what? And maybe that's what I should do. I should run for sheriff. But my understanding is you don't have to actually have law enforcement experience necessarily to be a sheriff. But hey, whatever. Yeah. I'm glad. I'm just glad to actually see, even though, let's be honest here, this is really a tiny, tiny push. This is not a big push from these two agencies. This really isn't. But even just the plain and simple fact that somebody somewhere within these leftist lunatic areas is finally standing up and saying, yeah, you know what? This really doesn't sound like it's a good idea. Yeah, it's about damn time. That's all I got to say. It's about damn time. Because let's be honest here, people. What they are both saying, clearly saying, it's like, what the hell are you people thinking? You're taking two armed forces, essentially, law enforcement agencies, and pitting them against each other. What the hell kind of crap is that? I mean, seriously, the only thing, like I've said on this program before, the only thing that these people would really and truly be able to fully understand is that in order to de-escalate the situation, you have cooperation between these two organizations. You have cooperation between local law enforcement and the federal law enforcement. That's what makes things work. You make it to where, when local law enforcement picks these illegal aliens up for other crimes, they bring them to the jails, and then they call ICE, and they say, hey, guess what? We have a controlled environment here. Why don't you come and take custody of this person? Well, guess what? Now, instead of 3,000 ICE agents flowing into your city, going and collecting warrants for these people that you've allowed to just go back into the neighborhoods, you now only have maybe 2 or possibly 4 ICE agents that show up to collect a person. And it's all done quietly, under the radar, inside a controlled environment. Nothing is ever said or done about it. That's one of the things that these leftists don't seem to get, is that they talk about, Obama, you didn't hear any of this about Obama. Well, it's pretty simple. The reason why you didn't is because the local police and sheriffs complied. And actually, yes, that's a reason why Obama was able to deport millions of illegal aliens without any fuss or fighting. Because you morons are the ones that are fussing and fighting right now. Trump is not doing anything that hasn't been done since all the way back when Clinton made the law the way that he did. Well, signed it into law. Because let's face it, Congress is the one that made the law. But still, seriously, folks, all you need to do is just follow the process. Just follow the law, enforce the law, follow the process, and get these people out of here. Then all of this crap that's happening in these 9 counties, count them, 9 out of the 3,000, roughly 200 counties that we have, 3,200 counties that we have in this country, 9 of them. That's less than 1%. 9 of them are fighting against ICE and causing all of this ruckus. Anyway. All right. Well, I forgot to mention I am drinking the 4 Roses tonight. 4 Roses, single barrel, out of my gifted It Takes Stones to Drink with Whiskey glass. This is from my wonderful Whiskey Warrior P1s. There's the stones right there. I got to tilt it the right way so you guys can see it. There's the stones. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Smooth. Well, we were just talking about the ICE masks and, the LAPD chief being smart and saying, yeah, we're not going to bother enforcing that. Give us a break. So anyway, I got a little bit of something in terms of the doxing and everything. I got a little bit of something for you here in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about this wonderful morning elixir that I drink every morning. I think a lot of other people drink it in the morning too. It's known as coffee. And if you still haven't tried 1775 coffee, now is your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. There's a limited number of units available. In each unit, you're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, as well as the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus with no crash. All of these coffees are single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you'll also be receiving a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. You'll get a frother that is strong enough not only to stir up your coffee, but also your mother-in-law's opinions. Let's just face it, you don't take much to stir up her opinions. And you'll also be receiving a black 1775 tumbler. It's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for just $99. This is for the ones who have been watching 1775 coffee blow up on Rumble and are wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, spoiler alert, it is. Go to the numbers 1775 coffee, that's all together, 1775coffee.com/studio, STUDIO, and grab your starter kit before they are gone. That's 1775coffee.com/studio, and grab your starter kit. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does. Go to 1775coffee.com/ that's your question mark key, /studio, and grab your starter kit today. 1775 patriotic coffee, certified safe for assaulting beaches like Tripoli, Normandy, LA, Venice, and many others, according to G. Go to 1775coffee.com/ studio and grab your starter kit today. You know, I do those little side junkets and stuff, and I'm waiting for some time for them to tell me, hey, by the way, your ad read was not approved because you took too many. Haven't had it happen yet, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, so in speaking about the whole idea of unmasking these people and doxing these people and, you know, so on and so forth, the leftists have constantly done these things. They've like put up doxing websites. They've done, you know, AI representations of what a individual's face might look like without the mask, things of that nature, in order to try and get these people into trouble. Well, I guess there was a group of hackers. I guess there was a group of hackers who basically have had enough with this. Because according to this piece in Town Hall, images that have been uploaded to social media show that hackers have taken down one of the largest websites that leftist agitators have been using to dox ICE agents conducting immigration operations in Minneapolis. So here, this apparently is the website here. And there you go. There's the page. It says something like, we were not kidding. This is, by the way, this is it's called stopice.net. And you know what? Let me just go and see if it's still down. I'm going to go and check this out. So let's go stopice.net. Yeah. Okay. So they're back up, apparently. So here you can go and send an alert or whatever, and they're sending, you know, ICE agents. They're saying all this stuff. Yeah, you can go and let me see what this Live Mac, plate tracker, secure line, rapid defense teams. There's, oh, whoops. There you go. Rapid response teams, so on and so forth. Send an alert. Let's see, what else do they have? Download data, printable materials. So they got a bunch of stuff here on this, but apparently the agents or something, they went and they posted this. Here's the image. We were not kidding. We sent your names, logins, passwords, and locations to a bunch of government agencies. Sherman Austin is a terrible coder. So are R.C. Concepcion and Matt Baran. So hackers. Hackers went ahead and cut this back. StopIce.net. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. So they, the hackers responsible also mocked the website's security, like I pointed out. So Stop ICE was a website designed to allow users to designate and track license plates radicals belonging to ICE agents, making it one of the largest of its kind. The hackers had a second surprise, by the way. Whenever they would search for a plate in the database, they would be greeted with Tom Homan's name. Oh my gosh. So yeah, just funny. Oh, apparently they didn't, Anyway, apparently the website's administrator, his name is Sherman Austin, he was like, attempted to reassure his co-conspirators of the website's safety and asked them to disregard the trolls. He also accused the hackers of working with Customs and Border Patrol. The anonymous account that exposed much of the site's information showed that behind the scenes, users were actually panicking. One of the other main figures behind exposing the inner workings of the group behind the site expressed concerns over the dangers it could pose if the poorly secured information from Stop ICE were to get in the wrong hands. So, yeah. The individual said on X, hey, imagine what nation-state threat actors can do with this information. They would have access and be able to easily identify government vehicles and agents. We need to hold the people that are hosting these sites accountable. This could possibly be a national security threat. Well, yeah, no kidding. Anyway, one of the accounts that indicated that their work would continue after New Jersey's Governor Mikey, Cheryl, announced a new portal to track and report ICE agents. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. That's like, using your powers for good. That's what that is. That's using your powers for good. Not saying that I necessarily, agree with it, because let's face it, just hacking the site by itself is somewhat illegal, but yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, there is a question that has been tossed around by these leftist Democrats that are freaking about all of this. I don't know if anybody remembers back in March, the president signed an executive order. Let me see what this is. So the executive order was 14248. Trump signed it on March 25th of 2025. Now, this executive order had the goal of preventing illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, from voting. As a part of the order, the president had directed the Election Assistance Commission to require in its national mail voter registration form that voters produce documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, such as a U.S. passport. Now, I'm just going to point something out to you. The state of Washington, as an example, has gone to all mail-in voting. It was voted on by the voters. I voted against it, but it was voted on by the voters, and all of these morons who are around here have or went ahead and said, oh, yeah, that sounds great. This is so wonderful. Well, I'm going to tell you that Washington absolutely is full of all kinds of fraud when it comes to this stuff, because not once has anyone ever bothered to look for or ask for voter ID. Now, granted, I had been a registered voter prior to all of this coming into play. But the point that I'm making is this, that the mail-in system is, all it is just a signature on the outside of the envelope. That's pretty much it. That's all that they have. And the plain and simple fact that I know, fairly certain, that I know that my signature has changed throughout the years. And they've never asked me to come back and re-sign or come back and reprove who I am. Now, the government, the federal government, has been looking at the voter rolls of Washington. And Washington, under idiot Bob Ferguson, who is even worse than idiot Inslee, the guy that was before him. But the federal government has been looking for the voter rolls here in Washington. Washington doesn't want to give them up. And this is because of the fact that they don't want their illegals. They don't want the illegal aliens or anybody else who is ineligible to vote to be cut off the voter rolls. So anyway, one of the things that's coming out about this enforcement order or this executive order is the proposition that ICE may actually deploy to, shall we say, ride herd over elections. So apparently a lot of the Democrats are sitting here going, I wonder if they're going to be sending ICE agents to prevent non-citizens from being involved in the administration of any federal election. Now, keep in mind, literally, you cannot vote in federal elections if you are not a U.S. citizen. So this literally shouldn't be any bit of a surprise. But here's the thing, and this is the part that I keep coming back to. If, according to the Democrats, oh, no, illegal aliens voting in our elections, that's just not happening. Well, if it's not happening, then why do you care so much? Why don't you just say, hey, you know what? ICE agents show up to polling places? Sure. Go ahead. They're thinking they continue to talk about, well, this is voter intimidation. I don't know about you, but I, as a U.S. citizen, going up to a voting place, I'm not going to care whether ICE is there or not because I'm there legally. I would be able to prove that I am an American citizen. It's not a big deal. And so why these Democrats are sitting here saying, no, this is a matter of voter suppression. Just like any voter ID is. Just like saying, oh no, you have to have a picture ID in order to be able to vote. According to the Democrats, that's voter suppression. Why? How is it voter suppression? I mean, they claim that voting ID or voter ID and using voter ID is some sort of racism. How? There's not one single person on this planet, I would bet, who has the wherewithal to not only vote, but also live in the real world. I would imagine that they don't have, or that they have, I should say, they have some sort of ID. And that's been proven time and time again. It's been shown by all of the videos that are out there asking, African Americans, well, black folks, asking, Hispanics in America, hey, do you have ID? You have to have ID in order to not only, cash a check. You have to have ID in order to buy medicine. Nowadays, cold medicine, you have to have your ID in order to do that. This is ridiculous. This whole idea of like, oh, no, we can't have voter ID. Or, oh, no, we can't have ICE show up. Why not? Why not? There is nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it at all. Well, just recently, a judge has, district judge, again, a federal district judge, yesterday struck down key parts of President Trump's executive order that covers all of this. So, this, in the order, like I was saying, it covers the Election Assistance Commission to require its national mail voter registration form in. The commission was established by Congress in 2002, helps local officials administer elections. The order also directed officials, federal officials, to take steps to make sure illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, and other non-citizens do not vote in elections. Okay. Yeah, good point. Very good point, Fernando. Fernando says, what about all the all of us that had to transfer our IDs to real IDs just to get on the plane? Well, you know, I pointed that out to one of three Chevys. Anyway, one of three Chevys Facebook idiots. And, yeah, I pointed that out because they were like, I don't carry my passport. I don't carry this. I don't carry that. And I'm like, well, have you ever heard of the Real ID Act? Because everybody outside of a couple of states has got Real ID, which has already verified your birth certificate. I mean, I had to. Here in Washington, we didn't have our typical normal driver's licenses do not qualify as a Real ID. So I actually had to pay a little extra in order to get Real ID. And one of the factors was, of course, I had to demonstrate my birth certificate, which reminds me, and yes, they are required for even domestic flying. Whoops. They are required for domestic flying. So you can't even get on a plane nowadays, even just to fly interstate. You can't get on a plane at all without Real ID anymore. But anyway, I digress. Going back to this, the federal judge said that the U.S. Constitution does not allow the president to impose unilateral changes to federal elections procedures. Now, sort of, but he is required by the Constitution to execute the laws. So, yeah. They also point out that the framers of the Constitution gave power over election rules to the states and then in some instances to Congress. Well, Congress, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, Congress can make any kind of rule that they want. That is in the Constitution. So, the judge added that they assign no role at all to the president, except for there's only one rule or one role there. He needs to enforce the law. He needs to enact the federal law. So, anyway, she apparently struck down part of the executive order that directs heads of certain federal agencies to assess citizenship before giving the federal form to enrollees of public assistance programs. See, that's part of the National Voter Registration Act, which was, they call it the Motor Voter Act, which is basically a pain in the ass act for it. Okay, Ms. T, what? Oh, I know. I see. Anyway, sorry. Got distracted. So anyway, as I was saying, he's supposed to enforce the law. So I don't know how this judge can say that, no, they didn't assign any roles. Enforcement. That's what he does. Anyway. So yeah. The judge's order. Let's see. The judge said the order's requirement that proof of citizenship be produced for federal postcard applications for the military and overseas voters was also unconstitutional because the president may not unilaterally change federal election procedures. Okay, that's right. Sure. Anyway, the ruling itself leaves several of the challenges brought by the plaintiffs unresolved for the time being. The judge did direct the parties to develop a schedule for looking at the remaining challenges. So the preliminary ruling applies to just 3 separate lawsuits brought by plaintiffs, the League of United Latin American Citizens, the League of Women Voters Education Fund, and the Democratic Party. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see what happens here, but my guess is that this is all going to come down to that Save America Act of Chip Roy's and the other one. So anyway, all right. Well, let me take a quick drink. Been talking a lot. Well, Donald Trump racks up another victory. And this, a victory on the international front. Do you recall one of the things that Donald Trump was talking about when he first got elected was the fact that he wanted Panama to stop being ruled by China, in particular the Panama Canal. Well, apparently the White House has finally won its first objective in the quote-unquote Don Roe doctrine. So the legal challenge that was occurring in Panama with regards to the taking over the Panama Canal, because one of the things that Marco Rubio did first as his Secretary of State, if you recall, was to go down to Panama, meet with the president, and told him in no uncertain terms that the U.S. would not allow China to control ports on the Panama Canal any longer. So on February 3rd of 2025, they repudiated Panama's Belt and Road Initiative agreements with China and would force the sale of control of those ports. China began a legal track against this. Now, late yesterday, the legal challenge got beaten. Panama's top court annulled the country's contracts with China's ports, with China's C.K. Hutchinson to operate both ports, effectively severing China from control of the Panama Canal. So Trump just won another international situation. Here, the Supreme Court of Panama has annulled the contract for a Hong Kong company to operate ports at either end of the Panama Canal, handing President Trump a victory for his security ambitions in the Western Hemisphere and denting China's influence in the region. The High Court said that the terms under which C.K. Hutchinson runs the ports of Balboa on the Pacific coast and Cristobal on the Atlantic side were unconstitutional, setting the stage for the company's departure from the port facilities. Once the license is revoked, the government aims to ensure the continuity of port operations by hiring APM terminals, a unit of shipping firm AP Moller-Maersk to manage the facilities until it opens a bidding process with new license terms, possibly separating the two ports, said Panama's pro-American president, Molino. He said in an address to the nation on early Friday, our ports are one of the strategic pillars for the national economy and a key link for international trade. So there we go. China has lost the two ports on either side of the Panama Canal. So, yeah. There you go. That's a win. Okay. So, Don Lemon got arrested. Well, he's out now, of course, and he's yapping his jaws all over again. Okay. But the city's church, which was where Don Lemon did his BS with the other people, the city's church talked to, Daily Signal, and they gave this statement. We are grateful that the Department of Justice acted swiftly to protect the city's church so that we can continue to faithfully live out the church's mission to worship Jesus and make him known. That was from Jonathan Parnell, the church's lead pastor. So Renee Carlson and Doug Wardlow, who were attorneys for True North Legal, who represented the city's church, also celebrated the arrests. They said that the freedom to worship God without fear of violence and intimidation is a fundamental right that defines who we are as Americans. True North Legal and City's Church are grateful that the Department of Justice is committed to upholding that freedom and is holding the agitators who invaded the church accountable. Now, what's interesting about this is that these dumbasses seem to think that Don Leming, should get a free pass on this just because he happened to have a camera. Well, I've had one in particular on Facebook who seems to say, oh, no. They didn't have a warrant for his arrest. What? They didn't have a warrant for his arrest. Or better yet, according to that person, it was not signed properly. Oh, so if they either didn't have the warrant, it wasn't signed properly, whatever. According to this individual, Don Lemon is free because there was no warrant for his arrest. Well, I hate to tell you this, and I don't hate to tell you this, because I've said it to him, okay? And that is pretty simply, if the Justice Department didn't have a arrest warrant, the whole case would be tossed by now. And it's not. He was released under no cash bail, probably because of who he is, but he was released under no cash bail. But the fact of the matter is that he got arrested legally and was released almost right away. Now, he is claiming, of course, Lemon is claiming a First Amendment defense, but his own videos show that he was going beyond just the First Amendment. Now, Don Lemon apparently has acquired a Hunter Biden attorney to fight these DOJ charges. Let's see, who is this? He's being represented by Abby Lowell, who is an attorney who's well known for taking on cases where prominent political figures need legal help. Now, the most notable one, obviously, is Hunter Biden on that. So, yeah, Abby Lowell is his. Abby Lowell is his attorney now. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens here. But I'm just going to tell you that there's no way. There's no way that the Department of Justice did not get a correct warrant for his arrest. There's just no way. So, yeah, we'll just have to see what happens here through all of that. All right. Well, for anybody who is interested, not like it really matters, but for anybody who is really interested, Lindsey Graham lifted his hold on the spending plan. He actually put the hold on it because of the lack of legislation that allowed senators to receive a $500,000 cash payout if they had their telephone records seized, just like what happened with Jack Smith in the Arctic frost investigation. Well, he released that hold, and so the Senate went ahead and voted on it. Well, yeah, we're in a partial shutdown. We're going to be shutting down again because the Senate didn't pass everything. It's only going to be a partial shutdown, by the way. The Office of Management and Budget is expected to notify federal agencies to begin shutdown preparations early as just after midnight today, which was earlier today. Unlike last time, the government is only entering a partial shutdown. All right. So what ended up happening is Congress was able to pass legislation fully funding some areas of the government, but not all of them. So places like the Department of Agriculture, the legislative branch, the Department of Justice, for instance, they all are being funded. Now, you'll recall last time, the last shutdown, well, the Department of Agriculture actually had to shut down, which is where the food stamps got shut down, which, of course, turned everybody in America against, well, all of those who were on food stamps, against the Democrats. But this time, the Senate Democrats decided to walk away from a bipartisan deal to fully fund the federal government for the remainder of fiscal year 2026 amid the fallout over Minneapolis and immigration enforcement. So now, in response, the Democrats had threatened to hold up the massive federal funding bill that also includes dollars for the Department of War, Labor, Health and Human Services, Transportation, and others, unless the Department of Homeland Security was stripped out. Well, they didn't take that out. So, because of that, they have and that sets up a prolonged shutdown, which could fuel airline delays, risk active duty troops missing paychecks, and even some Medicaid and Medicare services potentially. But, what's interesting, though, is that the White House said that it would go ahead and fund all but the DHS through September 30th. And they struck a deal with Senate Democrats to go ahead and do this. And President Trump even actually was saying, hey, you know what? I'm good with the funding truce. But, yeah. Anyway, it's a modified package that came through. And even though the deal was passed through the Senate, it still has to be taken up by the House. So that's part of the problem that we have right here. So the House passed the original, and this is seriously, this is Civics 101. So the House passed the original funding plan. The Democrats walked away from, but the House still passed it. Then they sent it over to the Senate. The Senate has now changed it. So now it has to go back to the House, and the House is going to have to decide on what happens here. So what this means is that rather than the last time it was all on the Senate for the shutdown. Now this time it's going to be dependent upon the House to decide how the legislation is going to be moved forward for this. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll have to see what Mike Johnson does for corralling the Republicans and Democrats in the House to get this modified funding bill passed next week. Alrighty, folks, that is it for me for this evening. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, head on over to rumble.com, get yourself an account. It is free. And once you are signed up and signed in, make sure that you search up the American Perspective channel and hit that green follow button to get notified every time that I go live. Also, too, don't forget to hit those thumbs up, thumbs downs, and of course, if you're Chevy, thumbs sideways across all of my platforms, whether it's X, YouTube, Facebook, or of course, the aforementioned Rumble. We will see you Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on American Perspective. I hope that everybody who is having medical issues in my Whiskey Warriors, I will be praying for you, and I hope that you all recover fairly quickly. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you Monday, and good night, everybody.